Give us a sense of just how severe the storm was and what the immediate priorities for you now are.
Well, right now we're still in the process of rescuing people in an area called Baybay in eastern Philippines, in the eastern Visayas region, in Leyte, where MacArthur landed. We have, as you said, a lot of casualties. It happened at night, and they were buried all of a sudden. This is a very landslide-prone area. A lot of faults. We have studies on that. But obviously, we need to really become smarter because there are a lot of faults, and we still allow people to live on the side of the mountains and also on the foot of the mountains. So when a landslide strikes, a lot of people die. This is not the first time this has happened. A few years ago, I was in the same area, and there were about 2,000 people who died. But we moved them to another area, and since that time, no casualties have been recorded. But it will happen time and again in many areas because all over the country, especially in the eastern side of the Philippines, so the Pacific side, we have a lot of mountains that are prone to landslides, and we have a lot of rain. Very unusual. This is summer in the Philippines, supposed to be hot. All of a sudden, you have Typhoon Megi coming in here and wreaking havoc all the way from the middle side of the Philippines, all the way to the southern Philippines in Davao and other areas. So a lot of people have no homes. Again, 250,000 people are affected. And the Red Cross is doing its level best to try, along with the government, to provide relief and make sure that in addition to the economic travails we're having, we now are estimating 423.8 million agricultural damage and about 7,000 farmers affected. So this is the situation right now, and we're just trying to sort it out. The Red Cross will be here for the long haul as usual. Yep. We're still handling Typhoon Odette, and it's just finished in southern Visayas in the Philippines. And here again, we have had several typhoons already in the last several months. And this is a buffet of disasters that have been hitting us for a number of years, and we just have to cope.
It is, as you say, though, you know, you're used to this kind of these kind of storms. It does seem as if they are intensifying. Is there thought being given to, as you point out, reconsidering where these homes are rebuilt? I mean, a lot of people have lost their homes. Many say there was very little local response. People had been stranded.
Yes, obviously, in the last typhoon called Haiyan, way back in 2013, if I'm not mistaken, we built 80,000 homes. The Red Cross did that, the International Red Cross Movement. And I'll tell you that this is the other side of the coin. This time it's not a tsunami or, ocean surge. This is a landslide. And I can see that there are many, many areas in our country. On the eastern side, we have mountains, and we have to make the political will to really get ahead of the curve by coming out with new settlements where people can live safely and maybe do some extra work in these areas, like providing sirens so that when a typhoon comes in, you can provide sirens so that they will immediately evacuate, and then provide whistles. So if they're under the mud, they can still whistle, hopefully. And again, provide all these barangays or these little barrios with flares so that when they're in trouble in the middle of the night, we can still see them.
Yeah.
The problem is having to search for all these people who are dying or dead, and it really is a big, big problem for everyone because a lot more people are put in danger because they're already in danger, and when we try to rescue them, the rescuers could also be in danger.
Yeah. So what sort of emergency accommodation facilities have there been provided to those who have lost their homes?
Well, right now we are thinking of, the government is announcing that they're going to put certain evacuation areas available for those people so that they won't go back to that particular area. Now, these are just 4 barrios, but there are also other landslides in other parts of the archipelago. But this is the most badly hit. So when you start thinking of families that have to be evacuated, you really are looking for areas that are flat, where they can be safe, where they can be near their farms or near their places. So like, for example, fishermen should be near their boats. But then that's really going to be a very, very big challenge. And the resources that will have to be developed will be challenging by itself. But we have to make these decisions.
Yeah. There's an election campaign going on. Has that been a distraction to recovery and assistance?
Well, it's a boon and a bane. When there's an election, a lot of people will go out. Many candidates will bring out food, will bring out relief, but that doesn't solve the problem. What you need are policies after the elections that will alleviate human suffering by making sure we prevent it, we predict the areas. I already put in money, for example, about 20 years ago on the dangerous areas in the Philippines. I know where they are, especially in the eastern side of the Philippines. But so far, very little has been done to move them. Even after Haiyan, where we were hit by devastating ocean surges, like I said, we rebuilt 80,000 homes. Many of them have come back to the areas where they were previously. And some homes have been deserted because they just can't make ends meet because there's no livelihood possibilities in the areas where they have been moved. So there really has to be a long-term plan, a big sit-down to make sure that every province can make some alternatives for the people. Poverty is an absence of choice, and these are one of the hard choices one has to make.
Yeah, as you said, needs a lot of political will. Good to talk. Thank you so much, Richard.
Thank you very much, Beverly.